That voice right there, that's a perspective you don't often hear in this business, Heather B.
Right.
But I know where that perspective comes from because I've been working in and around that person behind that voice for over 30 years now.
Crazy.
30 years, Heather B.
Crazy.
30 years,
Crazy.
Heather B.
I want you to share with the citizens what you shared with me last night that blew my mind. Which part?
About our next guest?
Yes.
Okay, well, let me tell you who we have real quick. This man is the Emmy Award-winning founder and CEO, executive producer of Jesse Collins Entertainment. He's an executive producer for the annual Grammy Awards and the 75th annual Emmy Awards. He produced the 2021 Oscars and 2022 Golden Globe Awards. Give this man a round of applause.
Don't stop.
Emmy Award production company. He has the unscripted division, unscripted series, Rhythm and Flow, Sunday Best. His children's series, Bookmark, celebrating black voices. He's a daytime Emmy Award winner. Gabrielle Union, My Journey to 50. Cardi Tries, My Killer Body with K. Michelle. He's done it all.
Ow.
Okay. The Super Bowl halftime shows.
Man.
The Weeknd. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige.
We were
there.
We synced it.
Rihanna.
Ooh. Oh, nah.
She almost dropped a baby live at the halftime show.
We were there.
Are you kidding me? And most recently, the most watched ever Super Bowl halftime show in existence, Usher.
Wow.
Usher.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, a Grammy salute to 50 years of hip-hop. The list goes on and on and on. He's a visionary. He has shown and proven that if given the opportunity and given the resources, not only is there nothing we can't do, we going to take what we do to a higher elevation. He has shown this over and over again. We know him as the founder and CEO of Jesse Collins Entertainment. I know him as Jesse Collins, the on-air personality from 92.3 The Beat.
Erase the color lines.
Erase the color lines. Come on. Erase the color lines at a time when there was a radio renaissance happening here on the West Coast.
Okay.
From Northern California to Southern California, where it was rooted. At one point, 92.3 The Beat became the quintessential hip-hop platform of all time. And I will put that up against any other brand, including Hot 97.
Yeah.
At this point, when you had Eazy-E and Ruthless Radio.
Wow.
We had Mike Nardone and King M's.
Yep.
Sway and King Tech, the world-famous wake-up show, the only syndicated show of its kind, the largest and longest-running one of its kind, with DJ Revolution. Come on. We had P-Funk.
Theo. Dog.
And this man was the premier. Fred Wreck. And this man was the premier on-air night jock who went by the name of the one and only Jesse Collins, who used to come on air right after me and King Tech.
That blew my mind. It blew my mind. Being on the East Coast, I had no idea.
Yes.
That blew my mind, Sway.
Jesse was one of the hardest working voices on radio.
You told us that last night.
Absolutely. Street team events. He was there.
We was there.
Driving the
van, the promo van?
The promo van.
Whatever.
He was there. Venice Beach. He was there.
Golden Tail and El Segundo. I was there.
You were there.
Wow.
I had to be where I had
That's
to be.
crazy.
He did what he had to do. Welcome him to the show. The one and only our good friend Jesse Collins is here.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you. Come a long way, Tracy G. He's come a long way.
We all come a long way.
Yes, indeed.
Man, Ruthless Radio, we got a Julio G, Tony G,
yes.
Keisha Milan, Stefan.
Come on, man.
Yella. And, of course, our brother, Eazy-E.
Yes.
The man who put it all together. That was a phenomenal time.
Wasn't it?
That was a phenomenal time.
What do you remember most about it?
I just remember, first of all, I remember Eazy had the best booking strategy for rap artists.
Okay, what was it?
The brown ones.
Okay.
Remember the weed. He'd be like, "I give him a brown one," and then everybody came through.
Everybody came through. All it
Everybody
took
came through.
was a blunt. You didn't have to fly them in.
Nah,
you didn't have
wasn't.
riders, none of that.
If he promised you a brown one, you
good.
was showing up.
How popular was his show?
I mean, Ruthless was huge.
It was huge.
It was huge. It was huge.
Wow.
I mean, you gotta understand. Like, I think Eric was probably the first rapper to have a radio show, right? Because
Wow.
Well,
obviously,
well,
Sway and Tech
that-
were huge.
Right,
yeah.
right.
They were superstars. They opened the format,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
and then,
yeah. Well, and we were rappers before.
well, yes,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
were rappers
yeah, yeah.
before. Yes,
Yeah.
sorry.
So we were the first.
Yes, they were the first. Sorry, they were the first.
Oh, Sway.
Eric was the first from Compton. How about that?
There you go.
Yeah, how
Okay,
about that?
I got it. I
There
got
we
it.
go. And you know, he just had an idea for Ruthless Radio, and it was amazing. It opened a lot of doors for West Coast artists, not just West Coast. Bone Thugs,
Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Wow.
Bone Thugs and Harmony
Yep.
broke on Ruthless Radio.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was just,
Wow.
it was an incredible time.
It was an incredible time. What? Now you weren't from LA though,
No, I was from DC.
so you had came in from DC.
I was on PGC in DC,
Wow.
which was #1 in DC at the time.
I remember PGC. That was like Steph Lover and different people.
I actually predated that. I was the Donnie Simpson era.
Talk your talk.
I was
Justin
the
Moore.
Donnie
I ain't
Simpson.
taking nothing away from you, OG.
I was the Donnie. When I was there, Tigger had just got on.
Oh,
So that's how,
wow.
like, where I was at.
Tigger's your son?
Tigger. Tigger, it was Alba D was Nights, and we had, and of course Donnie Simpson was a superstar, and I
Yeah.
was there
Yeah.
for a minute, and then I got to the beat in LA,
Wow.
and I hadn't been at the beat. I had been there maybe 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
maybe not even that long, and then I got on Ruthless.
What made you move from DC to LA then?
I mean, just the opportunity. There was just I was in DC, and then I came out here for a music video. Friends of mine had a record called Booty Call, the KO Boys. I don't know if you remember that. They were signed to Maverick.
Madonna's
Maverick.
label.
Madonna's label.
Mm-hmm.
Dana Dane was on Maverick.
Wow.
Shout out to James Lopez, who's doing promo then.
James Lopez, who runs-
who now runs Charles King's company.
Oh, right. That I'm thinking James Cruz, James Lopez. Okay, got you.
And so we shot this video. I came out to just be the homeboy in the back, and I took a meeting at the beat with Keith Naftali. Remember Keith?
Remember
Who you-
Keith? I tell Keith's story the whole time. See, Keith had a life before he came to the beat.
Right, it was KML.
Yeah, that was us.
KML.
Yeah, yes.
And I went in and I had a air check,
Mm-hmm.
and I had 45 seconds, like three breaks, and Naftali said, "That's it." And I was like, "If you give me a job, you can hear that shit every day." And he just said, "All right," and that was it. And probably a couple weeks later, I was in LA.
You were in L.A.
That's
That's
crazy.
a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Keith Naftali is the same person that hired Sway and Tech to the radio, predating Jesse Collins. You know, but
Really?
Wow.
Keith, that's how we got on KMEL.
Keith put y'all on. Wow.
Alex Mejia
Yep.
brought us to KMEL, and then Keith recognized, wow, what is this thing happening with these guys and this
Right.
hip hop thing? We got to put them on, and that was in 91.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we ushered Keith into the culture, and along with other DJs that were there, but primarily showing him how to program the music, right? How you can mix a Tribe Called Quest record and find a way to mix it with a Taylor Dane or Mariah
Right.
Carey or however
Right.
whatever was out at that time, or Janet Jackson, and how, because you remember at one point hip hop didn't play in certain day parts.
Oh
It
no,
only
you
played-
could only do it was mix show records.
That's right. Mix show records, and that's how we were breaking records.
Right.
So by the time we came to LA, it was like, yo, you better bring us to LA or we're going to work on that other station
Wow.
and go against you. And that's why we came and brought the syndication. And so West Side Radio was a idea that actually started in the Bay.
And brought it down.
Brought it down. Harold Austin.
Harold Austin.
Remember Harold
Yeah,
Austin?
Michelle Santanuso.
Yeah, and they were all programmers
Yep.
under Keith's tutelage.
Right,
They all,
right.
Joey Arbogé, they all
Yep.
came under Keith. And so we came and brought that fire. And then
I
at the
remember.
same time, that's when Ruthless got their show. And it was just a renaissance period happening at that time.
Because it was a Saturday night, and everything else was on the playlist.
That's right.
And so it was just real. Some could say anarchy. It was just freedom because they were playing the records that they wanted. Ruthless was playing the records that Easy wanted and Julio wanted, and it was really also the first time that like freestyling became big on the radio.
That's right.
Everybody had to come and do a freestyle.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing.
Yeah.
And people would be up there just killing it all night.
Right.
And then we did it some on Ruthless, and then it was also a crazy time because that was at the height of a lot of the
Death Row, Bad Boys, Coast West,
all that energy was swirling around that time.
Can you talk about that energy? Because people, it was dark to me. Like it was, that whole tension that was happening at that time.
I mean, look, like I said, I was from D.C. and I remember, and I've been on the radio, for a minute. And Ruthless was the first radio show where, we had security outside the door. We had security at the gate.
At the radio station?
Oh, no, like
What?
Big Man and the Twins, that was real.
Yeah.
That was real.
The security were hogs,
Like,
too.
the
Like,
way-
that was,
like it was tight. It was tight. And they were ready. They were ready for whatever.
like, really ready.
Like-
But they were so big.
Right.
This look crazy.
Whatever never happened.
Yeah.
This was like dudes who ran their own security companies that was
Right.
out now. You
Gotcha.
know what I mean? And where the studio was on Yucca Street
On Yucca.
was an area of Hollywood, I guess. And when you came on the block, there used to be a banner that went all across the whole street of Yucca that said, "You are now entering a danger zone.
Yeah.
This is a drug zone."
No, it wasn't.
Oh no, it was rough.
Kid you not.
And it had a gate, and so you had to. The worst part was like you had to try to time that gate, so you could get in before, problems rolled up on your window. Yucca
That
was
sounds
like.
crazy.
Do you know what else was on Yucca?
What's that?
You seen Pretty Woman?
Yeah,
the
the
movie.
movie.
You know the hotel that Richard Gere goes to get her at the end.
Yeah,
That's on Yucca.
that was on Yucca.
That's on Yucca.
That same block.
That same block. That hotel.
Yo, you ever see what's some crazy moments you remember from radio? I remember when we had Big up, and a caller called and said, "You can't call yourself Biggie Smalls."
Oh, that's right, because it was the white kid. The other kid was Biggie Smalls.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it was like, I remember that. And he had to fight for the name and all that.
And so the kid called while we're live on the air and said legally, and Big's on the air with us.
Right.
And we're like, what? What are you talking about? I'm the
He
real
had
Biggie.
copywritten the name or something?
Yeah, legally he had
Wow.
trademarked or copywritten
Trademarked,
Yeah,
the name.
he tried to,
And the kid, the skinny white kid, in that environment with all those big
I remember
security
that.
guards from the street, came up to the beat.
Yeah.
To argue his case?
He's just trying
Yeah.
to fight for his
Name.
fight for that name.
Biggie
I'm gonna say
Smalls.
his name. I'm gonna say fight for that
So
name.
is this why Biggie changed to Notorious B.I.G. possibly?
That's exactly
Yeah.
why it is. I believe,
Wow.
and that happened on our show.
Okay, so Sway thugged his way to radio, and Jesse got on radio to a booty call. It all makes sense to me now. I got it.
It all comes
Booty-
together.
It all comes
It all
together.
comes together.
It all came together.
Man, what do I mean, like, I just remember the radio was crazy back then.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just did whatever. I remember I was on during the OJ trial.
Yeah.
And so
Wow.
I used to have Live from Jail with Faison Love and Chris Tucker. And Chris was OJ and Faison was Al Collins.
Oh, wow. Get out.
To do a skit.
Yeah, we were doing What You Doing in Jail.
What?
It was crazy. They used to sell the tapes in the swap meet.
Wow.
It was crazy. It was just so out of control what we were doing back then.
Yeah, but
And it was just like, and then go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, and just like, I feel like that was also just so much music coming out fast, and you were breaking it.
Yeah.
You know, I remember. You remember when D'Angelo broke? Remember when we were all at House of Blues?
That's
like
right.
nobody had really heard that album yet,
Mm-hmm.
and like that was the beauty of House of Blues back then.
Yeah.
Jay performed at House of Blues. Tupac performed at House of Blues. Snoop, like everybody played House of Blues.
Yeah. Prince
Prince played
House of Blues.
It was It was that was a moment.
That was great, man. Jesse Collins was right on top of it. And the thing is, when you were on a personality in L.A., you had the opportunity to do so much because Hollywood is right here.
Yep.
And the on-air personality in L.A. was really treated like a celebrity, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so Jesse, you know, he was quite a item in the streets.
Sway, you just putting it all out there,
Putting it all out there.
Well, that's kind of funny, Jesse, because I was saying to Sway earlier today, if you did well at radio, if you were a good on-air personality, it seems easy to make the transition into television and film. We've watched people do it who were great at on-air radio. Did some of your background from being so good at radio, from Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles, help you in your transition? Because you have to have so many different mechanics doing radio, live radio.
I mean, listen, first of all, I don't know if I was ever good. I think I was adequate. I got through. But
How do you make?
Sway is great.
No, Sway is great at radio.
Sway is great.
But to me, I don't
Jesse's
think
dope.
Like
Yeah,
Big
I
Boy,
know-
great. Like there's people that are great. Tigger, great.
By the way, this time period he's talking about.
this is what I'm saying. I know the time period that you're speaking of, and I also know that it's very hard. DC radio is not easy, and Los Angeles radio is not easy.
Those are
you're not.
right.
You weren't like.
Those
come on.
are those are competitive
Markets.
Competitive markets.
Yeah.
I think for me, the transition was not anything that I could have predicted. It was really simply, the gutter truth is I got fired, and I refused. Like the day I got fired, I got a call to go to Chicago to see if I wanted to go to. I think it was. What the big station? GCI.
Another station.
And I was, and I said no. I just want to stay in LA and figure it out. And so,
What year was that?
this was probably 98, 99.
Wow.
And I just wanted, and I didn't know what figure it out meant, but I wanted to stay. And I think maybe by then I had got like some weekends at Power or something like that. But Faison Love really is the one. I was like, I want to write. I knew I wanted to write. Some people helped me. Marlon Wayans got me a book.
Marlon got you a book?
Marlon told me to read a book, and I wrote this script. You know, everybody's like, I'm going to write a script. So Marlon told me to read this book. He gave it to me, actually. And then I wrote the script. I was all excited. So I went to Marlon's house, and I was like, I had given it to him. This is when you had to print it out. So I had to drop the shit off, and then I waited a week. And I went over to his house, and he's like, come on, let's play some Madden. So we're playing Madden the whole time, and I'm just trying to get through this game to see what's up with the script. I'm throwing interceptions. I just want to get through.
Oh my gosh.
And Marlon kills me. And then he just looks and he goes, so the script is terrible.
Wow.
I'm just telling you straight up, this is terrible. But you just got to keep writing. Your first script is supposed to be terrible. And if you really want it, you'll write another. So I was like, all right. And then I told Faison, and Faison was like, you should try to get on Parenthood as a writer. And then he put me with Townsend. I remember I was sitting at
Robert Townsend.
I was sitting at Faison's house. I think it was Easter, broke. Townsend was there. And Robert said, come by the show and pick up a script. And so I went and got the script. And he said, now just put new jokes in it. And so I took it home, wrote a bunch of jokes, scratching out, writing, doing everything, and then took it back up there the next day. And 2 days later, Rob said, okay, come to the lot. And he just walked me in the writer's room and said, this is Jesse, and he's going to be a writer. And all the writers looked at me like I was the devil. And I didn't even understand. I didn't have enough to even understand that this was wrong on every level.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not in the guild. He's Robert Townsend's the star. I look like a spy. All the things. I don't know. I just see a room full of people, and I just sat in a room, and I started listening. I realized that they're just talking about TV, and they're just making up stories. What if Faison does this, and what if Robert does that? And then I just started pitching. I was like, well, I know Faison likes this. What if? And I just started adding to it. Anyway, I was in there for 3 weeks, just doing that. No money. I knew not to ask for anything because I just felt like I knew it was like one of them weird hookups that we do for each other. That I was like, if I ask, I could fuck it up. So one day they came to me and they said, you're not in the Writers Guild. Warner Brothers found out there's labor issues here, and they walked me off the lot. And Townsend said, he goes, no, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. And the showrunners, who I had only met during this 3 weeks, said he's contributed and we like him. So then they gave me a contract. They said that they gave me a contract as if I went through the Warner writing program, and they just made me a staff writer. And that was really the launch.
My gosh, man.
God is awesome.
So skinny kid got in good.
Got in. So I got to say, I say all that to say Townsend gave me that opportunity because when I was on the beat, I had, and this is true, I don't care what they say, I had a nicer car than Chris Tucker and Faison. Okay? I had a Mustang. Faison had a jacked up Monte Carlo. Tucker had a Jetta. And so I drove everywhere. I would drive to the Comedy Act. I would drive to comedy wherever they were performing, and we would hit the clubs. I drove. This is before Chris got the
Jackie Chan.
He got Money Talks. He got the Land Cruiser, and then it was over.
Okay, he had the better car.
Yeah, when Money Talks came, Chris got that green Land Cruiser, and it was over. But Townsend would be with us, and Townsend would see me pitching jokes to Chris and Faison, and saying this and that, and that's what gave Townsend the confidence to give me the opportunity to write on Parenthood. We never discussed anything. Wow. I just knew him as Robert Townsend, as an icon that was like hanging out with us at a comedy club. I didn't even know a writing job existed. So the point to all that is you just never know who's watching.
Wow, man. Jesse Collins here, man. Come on, Big. I remember when you start going into that field, and and that's when then you lose relationships.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you're walking in a whole nother world now. So some of those people from the beat, you got to wave.
You know what?
You got to wave bye-bye, too, right? And,
and everybody looks like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
You look kind of broke right now. What's going on in your life? And you're like, you're trying to put something together.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you. How did you pay your bills during that? You're at a place where you know and kind of feel like you should be, but then you're not being paid. You know not to ask. How do you maintain your bills during that time period? For any artist that may be listening right now.
I mean, well, first of all, I was in Studio City, 1-bedroom apartment. Rent was $650, which was amazing. This was the time of when you could. So you had your unemployment form. So then you would just say, oh, yeah, I applied to Target. They wasn't hiring. I applied to 7-Eleven. They was tripping.
Yeah.
And you would just fill that out. And then you got that, I think it was $800. You got that $800 every 2 weeks.
So that covered.
So between that, ramen noodles, and don't drive, and just...
Damn.
That was it.
You know he was broke. He called it ramen noodles. That's the bootleg ramen noodles.
Ramen was like $24.
Yeah. You were like, you just got all those packs, and that was it. I was on a water cleanse before it was hot. That's what it was.
Jesse was juicing before it was called juicing. He was watering.
I was like, now they're like, go on a water cleanse and detox. I was detoxing in 99.
Well, look at you now, man. Let's give this man a round of applause. We got Jesse Collins, okay, of Jesse Collins Entertainment here. We going to come back. Let's talk some Oprah. Let's talk some Super Bowl. Let's talk some Ice Cube, Big 3.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Let's talk about it all.
Let's talk about it all.
Okay, 888-742-3345. Get to know him. Yeah, give it up for him, man. Jesse Collins is here. The most sought-after producer in the game. Yo, this is a great story of how you went from radio prowess and how you broke into Hollywood with a lot of great relationships with the likes of Robert Townsend. But Faison, Chris Tucker, a lot of the folks you were hanging out with at that time. Who are some of the other comedians? Martin was huge.
I mean, geez, Mark Curry was huge.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Mark
Shout out
Curry.
to Mark
Yes,
Curry.
salute to Mark Curry.
Mark Curry,
Yes.
Mark
Sinbad.
Curry. Yes.
And then, I mean, everybody. Remember Martin? Remember that was when Martin was still shooting the show. Arsenio was shooting the show.
Arsenio.
We used to go to Martin Tapin's, like the club. You just went up there.
You just hung out.
Like,
Really?
Yeah.
I feel sad for the security at all the lots because that was when you just rolled up. You did not have a pass. You just went to the set of Martin.
I'm here for Martin.
And just,
Yeah,
and that's it.
No, you just be like, at least as long as you said Carl Payne instead of Cole, you got on a lot.
Yeah.
If you said Cole, you probably weren't getting on. But we would just roll up there.
Everybody at that time was there. And then you made the transition and then you started doing production,
Yeah.
right? What was the first big gig you got to produce? Was it an award show?
Yeah, it was BET's 20th. The BET's 20th anniversary. Jamie Foxx hosted.
Uh-huh. Did you know what you were doing?
At that time?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I was I had just finished writing a show. Montel Jordan used to host a show called Motown Live.
Yes, I remember
Wow,
that.
yeah.
Yep.
And so I was writing that for him, and I remember we was doing crazy ass sketches. I remember that was when Blair Witch came out,
Blair Witch Project.
and we talked Destiny's Child into doing a Blair Witch where each one of the members got killed or something.
You know what?
Oh my God.
Crazy. Oh, it was craziness.
So who got killed first?
I think we might have killed Beyonce first. I think we went through. I don't know. It just made no sense, and they were all looking for each other. It was crazy. Right. It was a wild show. And then and then from there, again, I had a crazy meeting. One of the producers on that show was going to do BET's 20th. He was a line producer. His name was Steve Small. He takes me in to meet John Cassette, who was the EP. And I'm sitting there. I'm interviewing to be the writer, the only writer, the head writer on the show, meaning with just one, meaning head writer of myself. And so I realized that as I'm talking about BET, that he wasn't familiar with the network and what BET's 20th needed to be. Video Soul, Rap City, all the Tigger, Donnie Simpson, all the things that were important. And I said, you should make me you should make me a producer. And he said, why? And I said, well, you're going to need Snoop. And I know Snoop. And he was like, okay, you're a co-producer. And that was it.
That's how it started.
Wow.
That was the first producer credit.
Okay.
It was really because of Snoop, who was not in the room.
And Snoop doesn't even know this.
I think I've told him. We've done a lot of things over the years, but yeah, I mean, definitely Snoop, by saying that, is what made John flip.
So let's fast forward to Super Bowl.
Yes.
Okay. The Weeknd, was that the first?
That was my first Super Bowl, yeah.
When this opportunity arrived, how was it presented to you?
Des Perez called me and said, you're doing halftime show. And that was it.
That was it?
That was it. Because, she's not going to say, do you want to?
Yeah.
It's not like, well, we're thinking about you. She's like, you're doing halftime show. I was like, tell me when. I'll be there.
But there's always a motive behind the madness. It's one thing to get the job, but it's what you want to do with it. What's the story you want to tell? Like, what was the mission of Rock Nation with the halftime show? I mean, it's not just to put the best artists on. It had to be more to it than just that, right?
I mean, listen, from a benefactor of the mission, I think it's about they've gotten a hold of the most watched 14 minutes in television history. And they are making sure that it looks different from when they took it over.
Exactly.
And so, and not just on the field, but behind. And I feel like I was a big part of being one of those first faces that they brought in with that weekend show. And then, a lot of people have come with it since then. Deion Harmon is also on that show. And that's all because of Jay and Des and their vision for what the halftime show needs to look like I said, on the field and behind. And the behind is, look, I'm not going to, obviously what's on the field is crucial.
Yes.
You know, it's the best halftime shows ever.
Mm-hmm.
But also getting us in the club of the short list of people that have been able to produce something like that it's a very small group of people.
Who are some of the names that have produced a halftime show? Brazier.
Great. No. I think it's mostly been variety guys. And I believe Don Misher did it for a couple of years. Now I'm blanking on who was.
That's okay. Skip it. You've been doing this a long time, bro.
But it hasn't been. Most people have. It hasn't been a lot of people.
Okay.
That have done it, and definitely nobody of color has ever done it.
I love the commentary at one point when people start saying the Super Bowl halftime show is just too black. I love that.
I love it.
Because there's no such thing.
No.
To me.
No.
No. You know, and it's been proven that it didn't even, whether he was black or not, that's Usher.
And everybody watched it around the world.
Yeah.
Facts.
Exactly, right?
For those types of numbers, it means everybody was watching.
How does that make you feel in the end when you get those results and know that you're part of the reason behind that success?
I mean, listen, it feels like you're going to get to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
That's always one. And then it feels like you're breaking down barriers because, again, it's like people say, oh, it's a black act doing a halftime show. No, he is black, but he is also a superstar with one of the greatest catalogs of all time. And when you play his records around the world, people of all cultures, creeds, shapes, it doesn't matter. Everybody loves those records. And so that's what we're showing. And it's been like that. Whether The Weeknd, Dre and Snoop, Rihanna, and Usher.
Was there any thought when Rihanna was pregnant, oh, man, we're going to have to replace her. We got to find someone else?
No, I mean, listen, when we were in rehearsals and we rehearsed The Flying and we were right down at Microsoft, it was interesting. Like, everybody's always, where is Rihanna and where, like, she was hiding in plain sight. We were right down at the Microsoft, right across from the Grammys. We were doing Grammy rehearsals and Super Bowl rehearsals like same day.
Wow. Same day?
So it was just bouncing back and forth. And she went up 40 feet in the air and thought it was fun. So it was, everything was good.
Everything was good.
Yeah, wow. And she was, she's a superstar. She was ready.
I'm curious to what has been the hardest pitch to sell to the NFL with any of these halftime shows? What's the hardest thing you had to sell, or they just kind of back out of the way?
Well, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
That's Sean Carter does that.
Oh, okay.
So
he's a good pitch.
Yeah.
So they got a great pitcher.
Yeah. I don't know how he probably just texts them. I don't know, but he that's Jay. Jay makes that decision, and Jay discusses that with the NFL, and then comes back to us and says, "This is who it is."
Wow.
And we're like, perfect.
So for New Orleans,
that's again,
huh?
That's gonna be a good one.
Lil Wayne and friends?
I have no idea.
Yes, you do, Jesse.
I have
Come on,
no
man.
idea.
Come on,
wow,
man.
Sway, sound like you trying to get somebody fired.
I have
wow,
no
Sway.
idea.
Come on, man.
I have no idea.
New Orleans, Lil Wayne and friends on the halftime show.
Listen, I have no idea.
Cash Money, No Limit.
Beyonce's from New Orleans.
Yeah, is she?
Kind of.
Family from New Orleans.
Her family,
Adjacent.
she adjacent
By
family.
way of Houston?
Yeah.
Listen,
Beyonce's third.
that's yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
Tracy.
Tracy's back in New York. You can
Okay.
see her right
She
there.
goes
Okay.
Hey, Jesse.
Looking around.
Don't worry, it's not a ghost, no supernatural.
Jesse was looking around like, who that?
Listen, it's up to Jay.
It's up to Jay. Damn, they got him, Heather. He's gone.
I think Jesse's doing the right thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, Jesse Collins is here. 888-742-3345. Tracy, you want to dive in?
Yeah, absolutely. I love hearing everything that's coming out of your mouth,
Yeah.
Jesse. And I really wanted to get your thoughts on the storytellers of the internet, because when I peeped that your company, Jesse Collins Entertainment, signed with CAA, which big round of applause for that. That's
thank you.
news. Yeah, absolutely. It made me think about the content creator Risa Tisa, who went super viral for doing the series Who the Fuck Did I Marry? Right?
Yes.
And a lot of folks were like shocked, perplexed, some congratulating her for signing with CAA. And some people's like conflict with that is there's so many folks who have put in a lot of work. How does she, off of one viral, moment, get signed this, and other people who put in a lot of work? So you come in where I would love to know, would you take a chance on like a one-hit internet wonder in terms of producing their story?
Sure, because I mean, it's one story. Still, just because it's one story doesn't mean it's not great.
Right.
It doesn't mean that it's not inspirational. Doesn't mean that it's not going to be compelling. Somehow her story is going to get told. A lot of people are chasing it, and obviously people are. But that was a long moment. I mean, it was 51 parts.
Yeah.
So, I think it's her time and it's her destiny to have this moment, and I believe CAA will deliver for her. So I think for other people, if it hasn't happened yet, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It just hasn't happened yet, but it's coming. I think what you can't do, we were talking about this earlier, is I think a lot of people get on shows and it becomes, they just start trashing other people. And they start talking about they got this and they didn't deserve it and they got da-da-da-da-da. And that's just, wasting your own time. It's slowing down your progress to be talking and negative about somebody else's progress. Because just think about it. If it takes you 10 minutes to talk about why she doesn't deserve it, that's 10 minutes less that you have to figure out your own shit. So now you're 10 minutes behind. And we all got the same 24 hours. And she is spending her 10 minutes meeting with whoever to get her thing further along.
Period.
So you just now 20 minutes behind. Like it's just wasted time.
Worrying about the next man's plate.
Worrying about the next man's plate.
It's just food getting cold.
And
it just doesn't make any sense. There's a lot out here for everybody. And that's the other thing. Somebody's going to make a deal with her. She's going to get a show. Like, I do the show. We everybody wants to do her story. But that's one story. Somebody else is going to say, okay, we can't have that, but let's find something else. And that might be you.
If you're not too busy talking about her.
If you're not too busy talking about her.
You're going to miss the boat.
Right. It's like, you got to root for everybody. You got to root for everybody, especially those in your field, because it's just going to widen things out. Because, if Warner Brothers makes the movie, Paramount's going to say, okay, what's ours? Netflix is going to say, what's ours? Amazon, Apple, all of them are going to say, oh, that shit worked. What's our story? What's our version? How do we connect to that audience? And you could be right there with it. Yeah. Because Risa's busy doing hers.
She getting it. You were behind the New Edition series in the Bobby Brown for BET, correct? Yep. Do they plan to do more of those? There was a lot of success with that. Why we haven't seen more of those?
Listen, I would love, and I think there is a plan to do more, and I know we want to get some more biopics out into the space. Yeah. I think you had, I don't even know why. It just there was just a gap. Yeah. There's just a gap, but I think that there's definitely more coming. Those things were amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk Rhythm and Flow. Give this man a round of applause. All right, Rhythm and Flow is coming back. Now, Rhythm and Flow, tell me the concept of Rhythm and Flow, how this started, and how you got involved.
So Jeff Gaspin, who used to be who was chairman of NBC, and then he was out as a kind of a producer, and he went to Netflix and he sold the show Rhythm and Flow rap competition show, and it was him and John Legend and this guy and Jeff Pollock. These guys all went in and sold this show, and they were looking for a production company to come in and produce the show for them.
They had already developed it.
They had it. They had sold it, but they didn't have a production company, and they needed a showrunner, an EP, somebody that really knew hip hop to make the show work. And so we were, they started doing the thing, meeting with everybody, and we went in and met, had a great meeting, or so we thought. Didn't really hear anything, and then it's funny. I saw Mike Jackson, who runs John Legend's film company.
Mm-hmm.
Mike is John's partner. Now, mind you, and I say, we talk about it, and I'm like, we really want to do this show. We met at Soho. I ran into him at Soho House, and so Mike is like, okay, let me talk to John. Now, mind you, I think John Legend's pissed at me because John had done the Lionel Richie tribute for the BET Awards.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we jacked the teleprompter up on him.
Oh. On purpose?
No, it was a mistake.
So,
It just the teleprompter got messed up and the words and off, and John had to like figure it out live. It was terrible.
Okay.
It was terrible. It was terrible. I thought John would never speak to me again.
All right.
Even though it's like, this is part of the thing as the producer. Like, I don't run the teleprompter, but I'm responsible.
Uh-huh.
And, and she's the woman that runs the teleprompter is still there. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Just everybody.
It happens.
Everybody misses a shot.
Yeah, it happens.
Everybody misses a shot. So, so I thought I was dead in John Legend's world. And he let it go. And John and Mike vouched. They're like, no, Jesse's the one that we should bring in, and we wound up on the show, and that was that first season, and it took off, and then we were going into season 2, and then I remember we were in production for a week when COVID started, and it was like that beginning of COVID, like, oh, well, we're gonna go home for 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks went to another 2 weeks, and then it was like, okay, we're done, and they shut it down for years, and then it popped in France. And then we just brought it back.
Bringing it back?
Yep, it comes out in October.
Hey.
November.
Say,
November.
who's that voice right there, man?
Stacey Collins Jackson.
She feeds him his lines. You got to see this, man. She's like, I look at her. I ask him questions and look at Stacey.
You got to look at Stacey.
Stacey knows. Stacey knows.
Right. Well, congratulations with that, man.
We had your guy, the man that the rapper that you may have had something to do with, Eminem.
Oh yeah, Eminem. Yes.
He's done okay.
Well, so Jesse was there.
That's what I'm saying.
Jesse, no, I'm taking you way back. But Jesse was there when M used to come up on the radio station.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, do you recall when M, before he was signed?
Before it was just like, who is that?
Yeah.
It was just the who is that?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny. He told he recently told when we shot. He did the show.
Mm-hmm.
This incredible episode, and he's talking about being in L.A. for the battle that he lost.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he was getting evicted from an apartment.
Wow.
And he really needed that money.
Mm-hmm.
And so he went out and did that battle and lost to I can't remember the artist's name. He remembered
Juice?
Yeah.
Was it Juice?
It might have been Juice. It was somebody that had a lot of local affiliations.
Okay.
A lot of local affiliations. And so it didn't matter how he did, he was going to win.
Okay.
And so M lost and wasn't going to get that money, on some fuck this whole thing, and gave that tape. Mm-hmm. And then the tape got
the mixtape.
Got through and got to Dre and the whole thing, and the rest was history.
Yeah. So I was at that loss.
You were there.
Yeah. And And I remember calling King Tech that night. Yo, dude, it's some dude named Eminem. That's crazy.
Right.
And we start bringing him to the show every week. Him, Chino Excel, Thurston Howell.
Oh,
Remember them
Chino
days?
Excel.
Yeah, we were bringing him up every week, just really supporting him because we just thought he was just supernaturally incredible as an MC. So it was a whole lot of factors that played into that, right? And here we are now on Shade 4-5.
Crazy.
Right, exactly.
2024.
Exactly.
Right? In LA. And we got you doing radio again.
It's just crazy how shit connects.
Yes.
It's just crazy how things connect.
Right? Adrian Miller brought Bianca G here. Adrian used to be back there with us all the time.
Absolutely.
So it's always.
Was Adrian at Quest?
Yeah.
Yes.
Where was he? Was that Quest, Delicious, Vinyl?
I remember Adrian had the first cool car.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian had the Infiniti Q45.
That's right, he did.
He had we were all like, I had the Mustang, Chris had the Land Cruiser. Adrian was like, I'm above y'all. Y'all don't even know what this is. It had the little fly clock in it. It was elevated.
Yeah,
He's always been elevated.
There you go. So come here. Come on, let's bring him in here. And while
Jesse remember everybody car.
Yo, remember, we were talking about your.
Was it
what kind of car was it?
Was it an Infiniti?
Oh, the J30.
Yes,
sir.
Yeah.
Wow, how you remember that?
I just remember I got in that car. I was like, because I remember people were like trying to get the 300 Benz or the 190 Benz. Like everybody was chasing that Benz or the 3 Series or whatever.
Yeah.
And this was all like, and then he pushed up in this, and I was like, what is an Infiniti? And he's like, it's just different. It's just different. We were going to Jamaica House.
Sounds about right.
We were going to Jamaica House.
Yeah.
Remember Jamaica House?
Dave Ferguson was my roommate.
Wow.
So that was the whole connection with Jamaica House was he and Howard did Jamaica House.
Right. And that was one of the first, I'm trying to think, first time I saw Big perform was either Jamaica House or Glam Slam. I can't remember which.
I think it was Glam Slam.
Was it Glam Slam?
I remember him performing at Glam Slam.
He was here for that time frame.
Yeah.
And he definitely did Glam Slam with y'all.
Well, that was with us.
Yeah.
Between Tech and us.
And the Jamaica House thing was when Eddie and Mike talked Puff into him going out to the party that they threw. So that was Eddie Donaldson and Mike Avery.
Yeah, Mike Avery.
Oh my!
Yeah, we
God.
can go. We can do this all night.
No, we can do this.
Like the audience is like, wait, what?
What? This is very insider. Chauncey Bell.
Oh
yeah.
Bill.
Yeah.
Remember Bill?
Yeah, Bigger B.
John Stockton.
Stockton. Yeah, that was all our crew.
Glam Slam was Prince's club. So Prince had a club called Glam Slam. It was amazing.
Prince the artist?
Yeah. Prince the artist.
Uh-huh.
And so there would be the club, and then you never knew when Prince was just going to pop up.
Right.
And it would be, and if once he popped up, that meant it was open all till 6 in the morning. Mm-hmm. Did you see when he played with Mavis Staples and she fell off the stage? Were you there that night?
I was there that night.
You were there that night.
I was there that night.
Remember that night?
Yo, that was crazy.
And it just turned into this jam session.
Yeah.
Wait, why did she fall?
She was going in and she fell off, and he did a solo while they
Picked
her
her
up.
You know what?
Oh my.
This show went on.
The show went on.
Prince said the show must go on.
He went into this crazy solo while they got her back
I'll
together.
take you there.
Glam Slam, Tribe performed there. I mean, it was Rage performed there.
Mm-hmm. Ice Cube, the visionary.
Yes.
Cube Vision.
Yep.
Created his own league, the Big Three.
Yes.
And the Big Three is publicly has, had his, big round of applause when I say that, has had his share of adversity, just trying to launch off the ground, as any new business would. But when you enter a competitive field, a marketplace, you might get some competition that might try to make it harder for you.
Yeah.
And still he prevails. Ice Cube and you, I read, have partnered up for a Big Three docuseries. Is this true? Tell us about it.
I mean, listen, it's what he's done with the Big Three is amazing. It's changing basketball. It's given, it's nothing against the NBA. Cube will say it's nothing against the NBA. We all love the NBA.
Yeah.
The Big Three is just different. It's a different style of basketball. It's different players. It's a whole different experience, and we want to take you inside that and see what these players are going through. See what their life is. I mean, people are playing Big Three basketball around the world.
Yeah.
And so We want to tell that story. We want to tell the story of what Cube is going through in this point in his life when he is trying to build something and give opportunity, to people and go. It's a little David and Goliath. Obviously, the NBA is a massive franchise, but Cube is doing it.
Yeah,
he's making it happen. And this is like, this is not it's not Ice Cube straight out of Compton, roll it up in the office, like thing. But he's doing it from a business perspective, and he's doing it in a way where he's just building it, and it can't be stopped because people love the product, and players love it. And when it comes out, it's gonna be amazing.
Can't wait to see it. Jesse Collins is here, man. Out of all the award shows that you've had a chance to be a part of, is there a moment that stands out to you that you personally, that tugs at your heart and that you're proud to have been a part of?
Shit. One particular moment on an award show, I mean, it's been so many.
Yeah.
It's been so many things that I've been blessed to be a part of. I think most recently, Busta getting his Lifetime.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Achievement Award.
Being a part of that.
That was dope.
I think he's still giving his acceptance speech right now.
Yeah, as he should.
I think he's still talking right now.
Yeah,
but
as he should.
But like Bus has just deserved that for so long, and it's been a part of, I would say, somewhat of a launching pad, a resurgence for him, and that anytime you can be a part of like those types of moments is special. And then going back, I love being a part of like, Kendrick's early performances, first TV performances, and just the early like Swagger Like Us on the Grammys, where it was like they were all together.
That was you, bro. I was there.
That was crazy.
Yeah. What was that like? Like that was such a huge moment, right?
That was
Wayne, T.I., Ye, Jay, MIA. Yeah.
Who I think the craziest part about that, first of all, I knew it was like, oh, this is going to be history. This is going to be history. This moment, all of them together, waiting for this. But then I think the thing that was wild was MIA was going into labor backstage. We had the midwife and the paramedics ready, and like she was due like a week later. So we were all, and it's funny because everybody's, a bunch of guys standing around going, "You all right?" None of us know what to do. And
but the rappers, Jay,
everybody's just like looking because remember she had the dress with the circle and the whole thing, and she was like, "I'm good," and we were, terrified, and she went out there and she did it. And then she went and had the baby, I think, a couple days later. But yeah, we were. That was crazy, and I think there's just been, fortunately, just a lot of great moments through the years that I've been able to be a part of, like another Grammy one, Gold Digger, and then the last one, obviously, when we did that Grammy 50 salute.
Yes,
that was a monster.
Shout out to LL,
Questlove. Everybody was in that performance, and God did with Jay. We shot it outside at the table, the whole thing. Just incredible, and then a ton of BET Awards moments, like I said, with Busta, Beyonce, Kendrick. It's been amazing.
And I want to thank this man for being a part of me doing the only award show appearance I've ever made was on the BET Awards, the year that you guys had me curate a cipher.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes.
With Dead Press, Locksmith.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because
it's a lot of hip hop award shows that happen that we're not a part of.
I remember that. I was like, Sway, I need this to be authentic.
And that's exactly what you said.
I need this. I'm big on that.
Yeah.
I'm big on pulling people in who truly are experts in the space.
Yes.
It's like, you, Questlove, the Grammy 50, JD, Jermaine Dupri curated the South. It's just like, you got to pull everybody in and make it a community thing to make it work.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. I had a good time on there, man.
I got to publicly thank him.
Why is that?
What?
For the Grammys. I have Grammys now, thank you.
You're welcome.
And more importantly, for the Soul Train Award, because
yeah.
that award for Anderson .Paak,
Yeah.
thank you.
Of course.
You know, that was special, Jess.
We love AP.
We do.
AP
And
is great.
contrary to popular demand and belief,
What?
Soul Train Awards may not ever be seen again.
Yeah.
But having an award is like nothing else. My mama loves that one.
Heard that, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, hey, Jesse, listen, you got to come back, man. This is be the
Absolutely.
first of a continuous conversation.
I'd love to.
I hope you enjoyed yourself up here, brother.
I did.
Good.
I was nervous, but I'm glad
You
I
had
did.
no reason to be nervous, brother.
Thank
Could, but don't worry, you good.